More and more people in Scotland are finding themselves victims of scammers, unscrupulous people trying to con us out of our hard-earned cash.
It's so sophisticated, it's so clever.
You don't have to be stupid to be scammed.
I was taken in completely, hook, line and sinker.
They know where I live, they know my address. Maybe somebody will come up here.
I felt a fool. I felt humiliated.
We're going to unearth the fraudsters' secrets and show you how to stop falling victim to the scammers. They're online, in the post, and on the phone. Financial scams are cropping up everywhere, allowing fraudsters to swindle money and avoid being caught. In this programme, we'll hear the heartbreaking stories of people from across Scotland who've fallen victim to the scammers. And with the help of our experts, we'll show you how to keep yourself and your money safe.
Later, we meet the woman who battled to save her mother from the postal fraud gangs.
I used to grab carrier bags full of scam and I used to put them in the boot of the car. My husband used to burn them.
And why our digital footprint is helping the online fraudsters.
We were able to verify that this is your house, I believe.
Yes.
At your family home.
Yeah.
Postal scams are becoming increasingly sophisticated. Every day, international criminal gangs are bombarding people with fraudulent mail, with the sole intention of conning them out of their money.
Postal scams are still very, very prevalent. It's usually run by organised criminals, big gangs who are making huge sums of money in the scale that they're doing it over.
They know that somebody has a weakness, they will exploit that. And so if you respond to competitions, sometimes your details will be sold on to other criminal groups. And if you at any time respond to a single scam, you will then find yourself deluged with other scams.
Postal scams are a particularly cruel crime, given that in many cases the victims are elderly, and in some cases in the early stages of dementia.
In Aberdeen, Nicola's 90-year-old grandpa, who suffers from dementia, was swamped by scam mail for nearly 20 years, and in that time is believed to have sent the fraudsters around £70,000.
He was meticulous, wasn't he, in his record keeping. He's kept every single receipt every time he went into the post office. I mean, there are just hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, we've even got like a little logbook here where he's got even more receipts, and he would take a note of the date and of how much it was that he was sending away and when he was sending it.
I know that you now get all of his redirected mail, and it's still coming in.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been in contact with these people for quite some time now. Can you show us the bag of stuff that you've got? This is in the last
2 weeks.
This is in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. And it just keeps going. There we go.
Every week, a mountain of scam mail with trinkets, potions and good luck charms would arrive, as well as letters from fake lottery companies telling him he'd won a fortune, but that he'd need to pay a small fee to release the funds, which he paid again and again and again.
He would write to them and ask them why he hadn't been sent his money yet, and I mean, especially over the last wee while, he got quite upset about it.
And I believe there were occasions when he was sent cheques.
Yeah, he has in fact gone to the bank with one of them and tried to cash it in. Obviously, the bank kind of explained that it was scam, it was fraud, and they alerted trading standards about it as well. So
right.
I mean, it's all good that all these things are happening in the background, but I suppose if the person's not going to believe it, then...
Such was their grip that Nicola's grandpa chose to spend all his money on the scammers, leaving little else for bills and food.
You know, we would buy him food parcels and things like that, because when you're dealing with an addict, you don't want to give them the money.
Did you then make a move to try and get some kind of power of attorney over his financial affairs?
You know, Grandpa and my mum and my auntie, they talked about it quite a few times over the years. However, he was very, very strict that they were not to get financial power of attorney. He did not want anybody else organising his money. But with his health decreasing, we managed to actually get full power of attorney with his consent.
Power of attorney authorises somebody else to act for them and on their behalf if they themselves lose power to operate for themselves. The right time to do it is the first time you think about it, and it's absolutely wrong to wait too late, because dementia doesn't go in a straight line and things can happen suddenly, and it's just not sensible to put it off.
The scammers were shameless in exploiting Nicola's grandpa's deteriorating mental health for their own gain. And had the family not secured power of attorney when they did, then the fraudsters could still be robbing him to this day.
Despite begging repeatedly, Marylin Baldwin couldn't stop her mum sending money to the scammers.
How much did they want?
20.
But what she could do was record what it's like to be a victim of the postal fraudsters.
Here is just some of the mail that my mother's been receiving. Everyone is asking for money.
She was getting letters from scammers claiming to be clairvoyants, and they told her that they could sense danger, that the family were against her, that we were questioning her mentality and wanting to put her into a home.
And do you think you've won on this one?
I know I've won it.
How sure are you?
I'm 100% sure with that. 100%.
That on the 16th you'll get your money?
Yes. You think I'm a nutcase? I'm not.
The psychology they used was so powerful that these criminals turned my mother against anybody who tried to make her see the truth. She just continued to respond.
They brainwashed you. It's not just you that brainwashed you.
I wish I hadn't shown you then. I'm taking them off you and I'm going to Greece for them and I'm in trouble. You're jinxing me. You're doing everything that's going to go against me.
There was one occasion I turned up at mother's house and she was washing one of the clairvoyance letters in hot soapy water. When I asked her what she was doing, she said she was removing the curse because she couldn't afford to have it removed. She couldn't afford to pay the clairvoyance fee. They told her that she would probably lose a grandchild if she didn't pay the protection money, or they needed to perform a ritual to keep her safe and to keep the family safe. The difficult thing to us was trying to take control of my mother's finances, which of course is what I wanted to do, to stop her sending money to the scams. But she didn't really want to admit that she was an old, vulnerable person. Over the 5-year period, my mother received in the region of 30,000 criminal letters. So when I used to go and she was distracted, perhaps she was upstairs, I used to grab carrier bags full of scam and I used to put them in the boot of the car. My husband used to burn them.
They've been wiping you out for 4 years.
Shut up now, don't go on about it now, because I'm about it. I've never come to an end. I was going to say don't come if you're going to talk to me about an end.
I can't actually say how much money my mum lost. It could be anything up to £50,000. This scam letters tore me and my mother apart. We had a very close relationship. And once the scam started and the criminals started turning against me, I felt like I'd lost my mother. You know, I was grieving for the mother that I had. And the more I tried to make her see the sense, the more argumentative she became.
No, but I'm the one trying to help. They're the ones.
You're not helping me. I just want to get her with my own private land.
They took my mother's life. They took the last 5 years of my mum's life away from her. My mother was trapped in this delusional world that had become her reality, and we couldn't get her out of that world.
Sadly, Marylin never managed to salvage her relationship with her mum before she passed away, or free her from the hold of the scammers. But after she died, Marylin set up a charity, Think Jessica, in her mum's name, to highlight the scale of the problem and warn others of the dangers of postal fraud.
At Think Jessica, we believe that education is paramount to stop this sort of criminal activity. And what we do is we produce literature that goes out through Neighbourhood Watch, through Trading Standards, through the police, and it literally goes into the homes of potential victims.
It's not just charities that are educating people about the dangers of postal fraud. With the help of Trading Standards, Royal Mail are training their frontline delivery staff to spot scam mail and report it if they believe one of their customers is being targeted by the fraudsters.
I thought it was a fantastic thing, and I was actually really glad that the Royal Mail had introduced it. And they've actually made it a lot easier for us to report these sort of problems and things like that. When you actually heard about the stories about people that were losing money, it was kind of a bit shocking to hear. And I says, what can I personally do to actually try and help? It jumps out at you compared to your normal day-to-day letters. They're usually brightly coloured to catch your attention immediately straight away. I have all this jargon on the front of it. You've been a winner, they're great deals, they're fantastic holidays, they're fantastic prizes. I'd say it's frustrating having to deliver scam letters. It really is. One of my customers at the time was receiving a lot of mail. She had no idea why she was getting this. I had an awful feeling that there was something up like that, so I explained to her about trading standards and things, and she took on board what I said. I'd say that, and after I'd actually spoken to her and she'd made a few phone calls, I'd noticed that our mail volume had actually went down. It hadn't stopped per se, but it had actually went right down. It doesn't take a lot out of your day, you know what I'm saying, just to turn around and say, all right, I think someone's up here, say it to your boss, and then, you know, hopefully something gets done about it.
So how do we protect ourselves and those we love from postal fraud? Seek advice before sending cash, disclosing personal details, or buying goods to claim a prize. Watch out for secret deals, get-rich-quick schemes, and inheritance notifications. Always seek professional advice before signing up to any type of investment scheme, and do not respond to any letters that ask for cash.
And there's lots more information and advice on how to protect yourself on our website, stv.tv/stop-scammers. We're all at risk of losing our hard-earned cash to the scammers, but we can protect ourselves and our money by reporting these crimes and being vigilant, especially when we're online. Every time we go on the internet, we're leaving clues about ourselves and our lives. And the more we go online, the more clues we leave behind.
It's a bit like Hansel and Gretel. You're leaving a little trail everywhere you go when you're navigating through the web. And each time that crumb of information is left, it creates a profile about you. It's got information that's really about yourself. And what people are doing is leaving that information exposed for other people to find.
To prove how exposed we all are to scammers, we asked Scott MacLeod, a digital security student from Glasgow Caledonian University, to go online and find out as much as he could about our volunteer, Ruth, armed only with her name and date of birth.
My name's Ruth Gallagher, also known to friends as Ruthie G. I work in the media world as an edit assistant in Glasgow. I like going out, partying with friends, tweet about it, Facebook about it. Pretty much your average 30-year-old person. I think I'm quite private and I wouldn't tell people things about myself that I didn't want them to know.
So Scott, you've been doing a lot of research on Ruth. He was looking a bit nervous. Yep. And you feel as though you know Ruth fairly well, even though you've just met her.
Even though we just met, I feel like I know her already, yes.
Okay, well, lead us off and show us sort of what you found.
Okay, well, starting with her name, we were able to obtain where she's from, where she now lives, her exact address, and these are your parents?
Yep.
And that's your mother's maiden name there?
Sure is.
Okay, your parents' address as well?
All correct.
And they've lived there for around 12, 13 years?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. And are those your siblings' names?
That's my siblings' names,
okay.
Yep.
These are some of the social media accounts we found?
Yep.
So your personal Facebook, your professional Facebook, slightly more locked down, but still out there. Your Twitter account.
Yep.
Your old Twitter account, which I don't believe you now use anymore. Your LinkedIn profile. Yep. Your MySpace account.
Not used that in ages.
It's still a thing. Your Bebo, your YouTube, and Google+. From her LinkedIn profile, actually, we managed to obtain some more sensitive information which not only correctly identify Ruth, but provide a direct link to her for any prospective attacker.
Did we manage to find out her mobile number?
Indeed we did. Indeed
That
we
was
did.
your phone.
Just to confirm, is this your mobile number?
That's my number, yes. Oh.
These are your two dogs, your two lovely dogs. Do you want to read out the names for us?
Vince Noir and Thelma Louise.
Right.
Now that seems like quite benign information and it's a cute picture of dogs, but actually pets' names are often used as either a backup security question or people use them as a password.
Exactly, yeah.
And we also got your mother's maiden name as well, which again is used as a security question quite often.
That's correct.
Ice bucket challenge.
Okay, you've listed your mum, your father with their names. You've also geotagged this with the location, and we were able to verify that this is your house.
God.
We have for address. Type it into a maps program online.
Right.
That'll show a picture of our house, and that is her garage door, I believe.
Yes.
At your
That's
family home.
terrifying, yeah.
That's scary.
That is very scary, yep.
The really scary thing is that all of the information Scott found on Ruth was publicly accessible, with possible answers to common security questions freely available to anyone prepared to look for it.
The most shocking thing for me today personally was finding out how easy it was for people to access my mum and dad's address, just through me not even thinking, putting their name against something. I think I'm going to be going home and telling all my family to change everything about their passwords, check everything's more secure.
Being careful with our personal information online is vital, so remember, limit the information you make available about yourself. Avoid geotagging and refrain from including place or family names in pictures and posts when using social media. Utilise privacy settings to restrict personal information. Use obscure passwords and security questions where possible. And most importantly, think before you post.